while he's sharing, I'm just going to say my name is Jason Friedman. I'm the chair of the Community Board 1 Landmarks Committee, and I have Vicky Cameron, the esteemed vice chair or co-chair, and my rest of my awesome friends here. And we're going to see what 90 West Street first.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay. All right, my name is Mark Anderson. I'm the architect for 90 West Street. And here, I hope you can see this. This is the location. It's on the West Side Highway between Albany Street and Cedar Street, and right near Washington Street as well. Okay, I'm going to jump to the next slide. This is a photograph of the building today. 90 West Street was affected by greatly by the collapse of the World Trade Center on 9/11, and this is actually the area that I'll be talking about where the work that we would like to do is. The World Trade Center greatly affected the lower portions of the north elevation, and the top of which of this photograph up in this area here were some original cast iron railings, ornamental railings. Fire affected the granite as well as impact damage from that event. Here's a cleaned up version of that. This is shortly after 9/11, and you can see all the damage to the granite, and as well as this area up here where the railings are located. What we wound up doing was removing the facade up to the 5th floor and rebuilt it with panels of granite, many of which we reinstalled, cut the back off the original granite wherever we could, and mounted it onto panels which were shipped back to us from Utah on trucks and lifted onto the building. Here it is, built up to the 4th floor, and you can see these stubs here. These are tubes, steel tubes that were to receive the new railings. This is just so you understand, this is the back of a new panel. So they're pretty much hollow, the structure of which is galvanized steel. And the area that these railings would be put on would have a stone cap on them as well. So here are some existing cast iron and steel railings. This is shown at the 4th floor on the west elevation. What we did on the north elevation was we replicated the posts in fiberglass that were clad around steel tubes to give it structure. And these are the 5 of them, 5 sets on the north elevation. They've been up there since about 2005. And unfortunately, what we have noticed is that some of the corners are beginning to split open, like this here. And we've investigated this and determined that it's due to differential movement between the steel tube because of the intrusion of some moisture. And here's some more photographs of some of the deterioration. Okay, so this is fiberglass. Fiberglass was cast around. Basically what it is fibers that were mixed in with a plastic resin that gives it strength, and they can cast this just very similar to the way that the original cast iron was cast. And it gives that fiber gives it strength. So let's, sorry about that, jumping around a little bit. Okay, so what we intend to do is replace these again in fiberglass. but we're going to use stainless steel this time, so it will not corrode for the entire railing. That includes the internal structure as well as the rails itself. And the fiberglass and the metal is all painted with the same product that we would have painted with cast iron. So the appearance is very, very similar. And in our case, we still have the molds, the original molds that were taken from the building to fabricate the new pieces. And I just want to show you some of the other examples of the use of fiberglass. This is 90 West Street. This is the top of the building. This balustrade was made in a very similar way. There's an internal steel structure inside here that encases the steel with fiberglass. These icicles, we call them, are also fiberglass, as well as these hoods over these dormers. This is one piece, whereas originally there were about 20 pressed copper pieces. So the waterproofing integrity is greatly improved. And here's other views of that. This is the detailing on the balustrade. Okay.
What is the reluctance to use cast iron?
The reluctance is that cast iron is cast in a way where the casting is true on the outside, but not so true on the inside. So it has a very irregular shape on the inside, which is quite difficult to attach to a regular shaped piece of regular steel. Also, it's quite difficult to attach the steel tubes, which are horizontal, into the casting. Whereas with the fiberglass, it's a lot lighter, it's readily available, and it has the same finish as the original. And we can also attach the horizontal rails to the internal tube by welding it, which is a very good connection. So here's another example of fiberglass. This is I took this afternoon. That's the first floor of the Peninsula Hotel. This is a cleaning sample on the left, and this is limestone on the right. This is probably 35 years old. And here's another example. And this is in New Orleans. I took this photograph last week. I was down there, the Ritz-Carlton. This pediment, or yeah, the pediment here is also fiberglass. It's been up there for 10 years now, and is in perfect condition. So we feel that we can improve the design or the detailing of the railings to make them be the way they should be, and have a better waterproof integrity. So that's what we're presenting to you today.
Thank you, Mark. I'm gonna not go first and see what other people have to say about it. So whoever wants to go first.
Okay, well, we also have Peter Levinson, who's a representative of the owner, on here. So depending on what the questions are, might be appropriate.
Okay, well, does anyone have any questions for Peter or Mr. Anderson? Wow.
Jason, yeah,
Go
sure.
ahead.
I mean, I'm happy to go if
Go,
nobody
go,
else is
go.
going to jump in here. So,
Go it.
piggybacking on Jason's question earlier, I guess. So, are the can we go back to maybe one of the pictures of the building rather than?
Okay.
Thanks.
Good.
So my understanding is that this is on the north facade. What about West Street facade? Are the other balconies original to the building?
They are original, yes.
Okay, and how are they affixed to the building? They clearly aren't.
They have a flange very similar to the flange that is on these guys here, and there are bolts that go into the cubic, solid pieces of granite. We couldn't do that here because it's only about 3 inches thick.
The granite is only 3 inches thick, is that correct?
Correct. It's a veneer.
I see, because it's newer construction or replacement construction.
Right.
I mean,
Hmm.
I'll just say that it's it's nice to have you guys recognize your building has got issues and then, you know, spend money fixing it. So for me, um, I would really, I'd rather see you do it in cast iron, but if there is some technical reason and that it's not a good idea and the same thing is just going to happen again like this, I think I could be persuaded to, you know, back your proposal, even though I guess it's not in keeping with whatever the standards are that's required for a staff level approval of ironwork that's, you know, at this level in the building. And I guess follow-up question, how high is it actually from the ground?
This is the 4th floor, so it's
Okay.
about 45 feet, maybe 50 feet.
I guess I'd want it. Do you have in your deck a picture of them from the street?
Well,
Is it visible? Like, could I even see this
this is
crack?
actually from the on top of the new garage in
Okay,
front of
okay.
the Greek temple or church.
I see. Uh-huh.
What about, so thinking through this, I heard what you said about the cast iron, and I understand the internal structure of cast iron being very difficult to, has to be thicker, and it would be very difficult to slide over a post. Are they, I assume they're round posts inside, or
These are square.
square? Okay, square
Yeah.
post inside. I
Yeah.
mean, what about a formed metal piece rather than cast iron or fiberglass? I mean, wouldn't that hold up much better, and be, you know, whether it was, I don't know if you could, you know, some sort of steel that would be painted then?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what the material is, the finish, which is the quality that we see, is going to be painted anyway. So, you know, it's sort of like if I could see inside, it would matter, but you can't. It's the same finish that you would see, whether it's metal or fiberglass, or if it were wood, which I wouldn't recommend, but you know,
But I'm just thinking that if it were in metal, it would be, you wouldn't have necessarily the seams that you're getting if it was a formed with a proper cap on top. At least if the cap was some sort of piece of pressed tin, um, you wouldn't have. I'm just thinking you would be able to avoid a future similar issue. Similar to what's happening now, that is the reason that you have to replace them. I mean, is it possible to do a pressed tin top almost, you know?
I'm sure it's possible, but you know, we've talked through this and with the manufacturer, and he has explained that these were made as two pieces, sort of like two L shapes that were put together, and
Hmm.
he doesn't feel that he reinforced those corners as well as he could have. So this time he would reinforce it, but the issue is really the force from within that's pushing out. And
I
we
see
believe
from the.
that with stainless steel, that force would be eliminated.
Gerald, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please. And Jason, I just want to, I don't know if you're able to see the hands that are raised, but there are a few other hands raised too.
I can't well, but whoever
There
wants
are.
to go, ladies first is what I was taught. So Vicky, go.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vicky Zendetta's.
I want to ask, in this current day today, is this building scaffolded?
There's currently work going on, yes,
Why? What
and
kind of
there's a
work?
sidewalk bridge.
How long is it? Ah, there you go. What kind of work and how long has it been going up there? Has been up there?
We are doing facade repairs
Uh-huh.
on all
Well,
of the
high level.
facades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Is
work
that
on
current? Is that current or is that on hold?
that's current.
So there are people out there working to fix now.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry, is this a landmark building?
Yes, it's an individual landmark.
Ah, so it's one of our national treasures and definitely a New York treasure. Is fiberglass also a less expensive option? So is there a cost issue here?
There is a cost issue here.
Okay.
Yes.
So my fellow board members, I would say that this being a landmark building, and there are so few in the city, and it's absolutely stunning. The cast iron has lasted for decades, not a century. I don't know how old the building is. And it is my opinion that it is time that we take care of our buildings and restore them in the same historical materials that have lasted for 100 years. And we just have to work hard at finding a solution to reinstate materials like cast iron. If that's what was designed, it was designed for a reason. It's absolutely spectacular. And for a few dollars, we can maintain and celebrate the historical aspect of this landmark building, and nothing else will do for me. Thank you.
Detta?
Okay, trying to. Oh, I'm all confused here. Where am I? Yeah, I mean, I know, I know this is the problem when there's stainless steel and it gets wet and it causes whatever's around it to, I mean, not stainless steel, regular steel causes concrete to crack, or it causes, in this case, the fiberglass. So with the stainless steel, has this been tried? I just wondered, you know, has it been tried putting the fiberglass around the stainless steel and been successful other places?
Specifically, I would have to ask the manufacturer, but on this very building, we have very similar details that are quite successful. And we feel that the detailing or the manufacturer detailing is also contributing to the failure here, which we believe that the manufacturer believes would be improved.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak from the board on it? Roger, you want to
speak?
give us some of your wisdom?
Yes,
Sure.
Roger, please.
Yeah. I mean, we remember Bruce and I and the Landmarks Committee toured this building after 9/11, and I mean, it was full of water. It was really quite something. But I'm not going to say who the architect is because I may be wrong. But could you remind us who the architect is?
Cass
It's
Gilbert.
Cass
Right.
Gilbert.
Okay. So, you know, I have.
I'm sorry, it's a Cass Gilbert building?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So.
The greatest ever.
Right. So I mean, I
Love
thought that was the case. I mean, you know, I'm getting old.
Thank you.
So I mean, I really do feel that when we have so few Cass Gilberts, and this is a very important one. I do feel we should do it the right way, the way that Cass Gilbert would do it, and I think the owner would, in hindsight, recognize the benefit of doing it that way. Thank you.
Can I say something, or I'm one of the owners?
Yes.
I'm Peter Levinson, and I must say it was the honor of my lifetime to work with the very dedicated team for 4.5 years to restore this building. It was one of the biggest granite carving projects at the time. We opened up a quarry for the stone. There were sculptors all over the country working on the gargoyles. And the team put their heart and soul in it. And when we presented it, and Landmarks worked very closely with having to figure out how to put this building back together again in an extremely pragmatic way. And I must say I have a very close personal attachment to every element of the building. At the time, Landmarks really didn't think this building could be rebuilt because of the scope of the damage and the pictures that Mark showed you. And sure enough, it was recreated. But to say on this particular detail, just because Cass Gilbert didn't use this material, well, one thing was that fiberglass wasn't available then. I would agree that if people could touch this, you would see maybe the difference between cast iron and fiberglass, but you can't touch it. It's 4 stories above the street. And as Mark said, it will be painted in the exact same material that cast iron would be painted in. So you have a more weatherproof and durable assembly. You can't tell the difference. It will last longer. So to have just a knee-jerk reaction that says, well, it was once cast iron and it needs to be, if there's no other, I mean, I just would appeal to say that because the durability in fiberglass in a new in a new assembly, as Mark described, would be a pragmatic solution. It is a big responsibility for owners to have landmark buildings, and we really do depend on the pragmatism and the understanding of the complexity of these buildings and what it took to restore them and what it takes to keep them. Because if you lose that, people just won't want to have these buildings. I mean, we have this building was built in 1907, and I had the pleasure of spending months at the Historic Society reading the papers and understanding what went into every aspect of it. This building's on wood piles, believe it or not. We've been maintaining the interior and the outside and the technology of what they had then and how we have to manage it now. I mean, for instance, if the piles were failing, you wouldn't say, let's put it back on wood piles because that's what Katz Gilbert had. There is some understanding of the complexity of this that I really do appeal to your good graces to look at.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. As long-time chair of the Landmarks Committee for 20 odd years, I mean, these are not knee-jerk reactions. These are feedbacks from people who have spent their life trying to work with people like you, Peter, to save this. What is the cost differential between the fiberglass and the cast iron?
What if fiberglass were more expensive?
What is
But
the
it's
cost
not,
differential?
no.
What is
I
the
don't
cost
know. We haven't had the cast iron.
Maybe we hold it over and you come back and ask for a grievance.
We could, but I guess the thing is, the bigger deal is that we have the sidewalk bridge there. We'd like to get rid of it. We'd like not to impinge on the neighborhood to have bridges which are so ugly. Cast iron would be many, many, many months to make forms and cast.
Is this only the 7 on the on the north side? Is that correct?
Correct.
Only 5 on the north.
What happened to the original ones? Just out of curiosity.
Go back to that first picture, Mark.
Yeah.
It's pretty self-explanatory, I think.
While we're doing that, I just want to say I disagree that that you can't see them from the street because
You can see them,
excuse me,
100%.
you can see them from the street, but what I was going to say is that you can see them very plainly from Liberty Plaza.
Right. You can see
directly
them,
across, sure.
and they will look identical. They would look identical in both materials, but you can't touch them, is my point.
One question is it was mentioned that the manufacturer has stated that they agree that there was some problem with the original manufacturing, and they believe that they can reinforce it. My question is, so is that manufacturer providing these free of charge to you as replacements?
No.
What happened to the
No.
original ones? I just didn't get the answer to that. The very original cast iron ones. When did we lose those? During 9/11?
On 9/11. Yeah, you could see that they're not even visible here.
Okay,
They
I just
are.
wanted to understand that.
Yeah.
That's not true. I'm sorry. This is the ground floor, and you're saying this is on the 4th floor.
Yeah, so up here.
See the 4th floor there.
Yeah.
While we understand that it's an ominous task to own and manage a landmark building, one of the responsibilities of having this, what is the word? It's almost an honor This is a Cass Gilbert building. I'm sorry. This is one of the greatest historical architects we have in this country. And we should do everything we can to do a decent job and not choose monetary advantages over doing what is inherent to good architecture and good materials.
But the decision to try to ask for the fiberglass is not only a monetary question. It's a technical question as well.
Well, I'm sure you can work on that. It's not our job here. I'm telling you, good architecture even today is not built out of fiberglass. And you're speaking to a lot of architects here, so it's not a knee-jerk reaction. We understand how hard this is, but it is your responsibility when you own this kind of a building to do everything you can to make it absolutely as best as it can be. And I'm sorry, fiberglass is just not it.
Okay, I'm gonna just I don't know. I'm gonna first ask, is there anybody else in the audience here that wants to speak on this besides the board members and Mark or Mr. Forgot your last name, but owner?
Levinson?
Peter
Levinson.
Levinson.
Peter, sorry. It's just we're not in a room together. It's unfortunate. We're kind of all seeing each other's way. I am not such a purist when it comes to these type of things personally. You know, I say if it looks as good as possible as it could if it was cast iron from 40 feet away, you know, I can sometimes get behind that. Sounds like generally the group here is not interested in that. So it sounds like I should suggest a, you know, that a resolution where we're insistent that the original material be used and do some diligence to make that happen. And that's the only way it sounds like you're going to get Community Board 1 support from this committee. But of course, you know, we're not the judges and the juries of this. So, you know, you could take that resolution and go to your public hearing and give your story to the commissioners, and it could go, you know, likely to go in a different direction. So to avoid any more kind of back talk forth, and I think we know most people's positions, I think we should call the question and move on, honestly. And if does anyone see a road to anything other than the resolution that says we want cast iron and we won't take anything else?
Or we want a respectful material.
Well, now you want to spec another material, you're saying?
Oh, I said respectful.
Well, I think that's a little bit loose. I mean, if we're going to say it, like, what can we hang our hat on? That we want it to be cast iron because it's one of the great buildings in the world.
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I think we leave it at that instead of suggesting any other material.
Yeah, it's not
Well,
our,
Jason, I would say that I'm on the fence here. It's been passed one time around with you know, Landmark's approval, or as the client, the owner has said it with close working with Landmarks. I would like to see personally, when I say personally, I mean from the fact that it is a historic structure, something more durable material. It sounds as though the manufacturer is stating that they can provide a more durable fiberglass material. I don't know about whether that's possible or not, but I just want to say maybe in the resolution a more durable material or other solutions. I also understand there's only 3 inches of granite, and you can't put the bolts in it and epoxy it in and only 3 inches. It's not enough.
very not our problem.
True, not our problem.
Gerald brings up
So.
a good point, and so I want to follow up with a question. Wasn't this work that's failing previously proved by Landmarks in something other than cast iron?
I believe it was, but Landmarks cannot find the specific approval.
Ay.
That's
Why
why
don't you try and
Exactly.
find that and then make our life much easier? Find a drawing that says that this material was approvable, and then we don't even have to discuss this. That seems like the easiest route.
Right.
Jason,
The
one last
material
question.
is definitely approvable because
No,
it
no,
was
no. Find a
approved.
drawing that says proposed fourth floor balcony railings to be not cast iron. And
It's a
if
good
it's
point,
stamped,
Jason. I
if
would
it's stamped,
abstain at this point.
Now, the problem is this was also right after 9/11. God knows everybody was approving everything. Please, it's a Cass Gilbert building. We cannot give this up. Total care and love for this art building has to be there.
I love Cass Gilbert. We've been maintaining the Woolworth building as well for the last 35, almost 40 years. And we love this building. We love Cass Gilbert, and I like what you're saying. But I really respectfully believe that fiberglass is the right material in this case.
We use
Yeah.
that for cars.
I think we got to take a straw poll because I'm like Gerald has mentioned, I'm on the fence. And I'll just say one of the other reasons I'm on the fence about it is they've proven just in this short meeting from the pictures I saw before and after their dedication to this, keeping this building great. I mean, I walk by this building and I always say, what a great looking building. I don't say, oh, what's that scumbag developer adding some sort of illegal railing or this and that. I mean, it is exemplary in its status right now. And so I'm not trying to like reward those people that are doing good work, but it seems like these are people that are doing good work. And they've studied
Sorry, Jeremy.
and they've just studied something and it failed at this connection point. And
The
Yeah.
reason that it's fabulous today is because it was done well 100 years ago, okay? And everything that they did in the last 10 or 15 years has now failed. And yet this building has been there. It's great because it was well designed and well chosen in material selections.
okay, so straw poll on like it's Vicky is a no for everything
You
except
have, you have
Jason,
Susan with her hands
Susan's
up.
up. Yeah.
I have to
Susan.
recuse myself. I will recuse myself on this one.
Oh, let's not have one of these votes where it's a bunch of recusals and abstains.
No.
No.
This is a connection that I would like to
Okay.
make myself. Otherwise, I've already spoken my mind. I hope the rest of my committee is listening and taking heed. I'm very passionate about this property. However, I will explain to you later why. This is not a recusal because I don't have an opinion.
Okay, Susan.
I'm on the fence as well. I mean, I really, that's all I want to say. I've listened and I've seen, and I'm just not sure, Jason, that
So, if I may, Jason, just again, historic perspective. This building was toured by the Landmarks Committee soon after 9/11. It was a mess, and I agree. It's been restored beautifully. To me, we have an opportunity to say there's a grievance that we can approve on cost. I mean, but for a building of this size, I would imagine the difference between cast iron and fiberglass over the value of the building is probably minimal. But to just say it's okay because we like fiberglass in the 21st century over cast iron, to me seems a missed opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Okay, I think I'm convinced now, Roger, of what
Yeah,
you're saying.
thank you.
It's also just another one of these unfortunate scenarios where we're left picking up the pieces of landmarks because if they were thorough and it was a note on the drawing about what it needed to be, we might not be here. So I think that we're gonna write it some way saying that we.
Wait 1 second before you go there. Gerald has a word.
Gerald, go, Gerald.
Yeah, my last comment is that I would defer to the Department of Interior Preservation tech briefs on restoring structures, and if there was a way to find a lightweight stamped zinc or some other sort of stamped metal that could replicate it and be much more durable than a fiberglass, that's what I would suggest.
So
Thank you.
you're referring to the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation, if there's something in there for ironwork?
Correct. Department of Interior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I see Pat Moore, but she's not a normal attendee. Are you now on our team?
No, she's just here to visit.
No, I
I
just
see.
come to all the meetings.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm also a
Okay.
neighbor of theirs.
Inspecting.
so.
Okay.
Hi, Pat.
So Roger, you want to summarize one more time with your, breadth of knowledge on this board, what you think we should write up as a resolution, and if it's one of, an affirmative way or it's a negative one, what are your thoughts, last thoughts on that?
Personally, I think, Peter, you'd be smart to defer the approval for 1 month and come back and explain to us why it's prohibitively expensive to use cast iron. Because you can see the sense of the committee is that we would like cast iron. If you're going to come back and say you just simply can't afford to do that, we're probably going to not agree with that. But I think all of us want to respect the beautiful asset that you own. And as I say, so many owners have come back and said, thank you for making us do the right thing, because fiberglass is not cast iron. And in this day and age, we can get cast iron that can be secured even on, less than thick granite. So for me, Jason, I would say if Peter was prepared to defer it a month, we should do that. But if he insists on going forwards to landmarks, I think we have to, personally, I would suggest a rejection on the grounds that there isn't a grievance that they can't afford. This building cannot afford to use an original material versus a 21st century material.
Okay, so Peter, that question is for you. I'm going to add a second question, which is more like an assumption. I mean, it's obviously incrementally not that much more expensive to use cast iron than aluminum on a building this size for 5 railings. So I might suggest some other grievance, but do you want to lay it over and come back, or you want to get going with a negative resolution that you can take to the Landmarks Commission?
Well, I know I'll defer to Mark. I mean, the fact of the matter is that everybody's been so laser focused on the price. And Mark has talked about the durability of the attachment, which has not really been discussed. And so I'm just, I'm an architect.
Well, let's discuss that then, Peter. So, I live in an old house and my cast iron work is fine. And the quality of a mature cast iron railing versus a piece of fiberglass, is, as we know, is very, very different. So I don't agree that cast iron cannot last for a long period of time. I mean, do you really feel cast iron wears down?
No, it doesn't wear down. But as Mark talked about, the attachments are more complicated. And, frankly, I'm just a little taken aback when with sort of the very negative approach on this particular piece, which I agree with you, fiberglass in many instances, when you can touch it, when the colors matching is wrong, when there's no patina, those things are just, I'd be 100%, I wouldn't be here because I'd be using the matching material. But in this particular instance, because it can't be touched, it can't be seen in any other way but exactly what it would look like in another material. And the other material would cause an issue with the attachment. It would be a dramatic delay in fabrication, and there is a cost component of it. That's what I have to say about it. And ultimately, you guys opine. Yeah, I've been through a lot with this building. It means a lot to me. I mean, I have all my kids in gargoyles. I'm up there. My heart and soul is in this building. But I am here for you to opine. And so Mark, I think, has laid out the case pretty clearly. And I don't really know what the next step is. I mean, Landmarks has been and was extremely appreciative, and it wasn't just because it was 9/11. It's because they knew that I had my heart and soul, and the whole ownership team had in that building and what we did with it. you know, we did whatever we could, and we thought that we got to where we got to with, you know, a team, both the city, the state, SHPA, the consultants. They were all really to a goal that restored the building and made sense, and we created something beautiful. So you know, I really wouldn't be presenting material that I didn't think had the quality of what everything else we did there was. That's all we can say. Whether I want to delay it a month or not, no, I think because stamped zinc wouldn't, I don't think it'll work. You know, you could never weld the corners that well. You know, I don't know if you could do it in fiber concrete or something, if you would consider that, but I don't think that's a material. This is a material that makes sense in that location that nobody would ever know the difference, not even Cass Gilbert in his grave. This is not something you can touch. This is not something that you can knock, and it will last forever. So the idea of it cast Gilbert, and the only people that will ever know that it is cast iron after this would be the people on this call and on the Landmarks Commission.
And there is another aspect which I haven't really talked about, but it's a safety aspect. And I feel we've been responsible for the local law 11 on this building for 20 years now. And we're very thorough. But I must say, I feel confident in this material structurally. I feel very queasy about using cast iron because the aspect of this is that God forbid somebody climbs out a window and pushes on this thing. I don't know if those connections can be made strong enough for that. And in the case,
Mark, I'm sorry, did you not have, are we not replacing fiberglass now?
replacing where I'm not sure what
Full assembly, the stainless, it'd be replacing a stainless railing with a fiberglass sleeve.
But you have fiberglass now on the outside.
And the horizontal steel,
Right.
Mark, these are
Right, so
just
10 years
also,
later it failed.
to be clear, this is really the sleeve just on the vertical. The horizontal pieces are steel.
yes.
So
Are
it's
the
just
horizontal pieces, are they welded to are they going to be welded to the steel posts?
Yes.
Otherwise, they're stuck in
yes.
fiberglass
So,
and there's no structural integrity.
right, you're
Right.
100% right. So
Yeah.
to be clear, all the horizontal pieces are steel.
And
Painted the same way.
they're connected to the structural post inside. So the fiberglass is just the cladding to replicate the shape of the post. The structure is continuous throughout, vertically and horizontally.
So at that point, you're actually introducing a potential water issue, which is probably what has created this in the first place, which is the wrap of the fiberglass around these steel horizontals, and that would be one of the ways that the water would get through. I mean, how is that going to be
Sealed.
how is that going to be sealed from, you know,
Yeah, it would be sealed.
prevented for the future?
That would be sealed and maintained.
Oh,
Just
no.
as a cast iron piece would have to need to be continually painted.
But you have fiberglass and it failed in less than what, 15 years, 20 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's our point. Poor
Well,
products.
yeah, if you look at 95% of the fiberglass on this building, there are absolutely no issues with it.
Well, if I were here, I wouldn't have liked you replacing bits and pieces of that building in fiberglass to begin with, or granite veneer. You know, it was all, cost related. Could have replaced it with granite, didn't have to be granite veneer. Sorry, we can opine on this for hours.
Exactly. I'm gonna jump
let's
in
stop. Thank
rudely,
Liz still
rudely.
has her hand up. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna see that person and then we're gonna move on. So
There's
please.
no one else, it's just Detta, and she spoke.
Oh, Dada spoke, and no one is here from the.
No, I put my hand back up.
Dada, go for it.
Okay, sorry.
Oh God, I'm struggling with my tech this time. Okay, so I was just, as I understand it, it failed the first time because it was regular steel, which rusted and expanded and caused the fiberglass to crack. And that with stainless steel, not only will it be sealed, so it won't get moisture, but even if stainless steel gets moist, it doesn't rust. So it won't rust and expand and cause the fiberglass around it to crack off.
Correct. Yes, that is the concept. Yep. Yeah, I think you're muted.
We lost you.
Dada, you,
Oh, I was saying I notice it myself. Anything I have outside, steel versus stainless steel, one rusts and one doesn't.
okay, guys, I think this is going to be one of those negative resolutions that we're going to blink and then we're going to hear about how it was approved by the commission. So let's write one up and I'll send it around and we can vote on it. So it sounds like some people are going to recuse. We're going to have to all pick our votes. Okay. So do I have a second to
I
call
second.
the question? Okay.
I seconded it.
So
Are you ready?
negative. Yep.
Jason,
I'm in favor.
Vicky,
I recuse for professional reasons.
Susan,
I'm in favor.
Gerald,
This is in favor of negative vote, right?
Negative
Negative,
resolution.
Yeah,
We
negative
want you to
resolution.
use cast iron. We appreciate this. We don't appreciate that. We don't want them. We don't recommend it's approved as proposed.
I'm gonna abstain.
Megan,
I'm in favor.
Vera,
I'm abstaining.
abstaining, sorry. And Roger.
Yes.
Okay, so that's that. If you guys want to come to the full board meeting and after we've written the resolution and in the public session, make some extra comments and please to the rest of the 50 members, I encourage you to do so.
Okay.
And Jason, last thing here I want to say is it would have been helpful to have seen some, details of drawings of what's being proposed as well.
Oh, that's a good thing. If you
Connections,
guys wanted
etc.
to,
Yeah.
if you guys wanted to supply those and maybe they looked favorable to us more, maybe the resolution will be a little bit nicer, but it's a good point.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Roger.
Yeah, so I raised this matter and we were in court last month, and so we pushed it off. In all the 20 odd years I've been doing this, I was aghast at what happened at Water Street. And I could see that so many commissioners were put under pressure, not only by the mayor, but by the chair of the commission. And when I did some research into why so many of them were under pressure, it turned out that their terms had expired. And so they were there at the will of Mayor de Blasio. And I just think that's not right for commissioners who are appointed to be independent. They're experts in this area, but they should have that independence to make their opinions felt with independence. And so as we saw what happened with Water Street, I just feel it's appropriate for us to ask the mayor to appoint the commissioners that have term limited, to reappoint them or replace them. And that I think that we should make a resolution that says we want commissioners that are not from the Real Estate Board of New York or are not conflicted in too many ways, and that they are given an appropriate term to give their independent expertise, which is what the Landmarks Commission law established. I wrote to, is it Sarah or Sasha? I'm not sure. I wrote to the local, the LPC community liaison person yesterday to ask her to let us know which commissioners are term limit or which commissioners are over term, but unfortunately she hasn't responded. But I believe it's more than half of them. More than half of them could be removed tomorrow by the mayor, and the mayor could appoint a bunch of new commissioners at his discretion, dependent upon what he feels he wants that commission to reflect. And that was not what the law back in the 60s envisioned, and I think we should just remind them. I mean, Jason's so right that we are so opposed, we are so diametrically opposed with so many of what's going on with the commission. But that doesn't stop us in our community doing what is the right thing. I'd also say that for those of us that have been in this community a long time, the fact that Lower Manhattan is one of the most valuable zip codes in the country is because we've fought so hard, like we've just done now, on making sure that these wonderful buildings are respected. You go to London, we talk about London, you go to London, you go, wow, you know, you go to Australia, you go, wow, you go to Paris, wow. We should not be constantly worn down just because a developer wants to make a little bit more money. And so I feel we should raise the propose a resolution that gets independent commissioners appointed for a full term, and that those that aren't should either be replaced or their term should be confirmed, so that we aren't in this land of limbo. Thank you.
I would second that
Oh, yes.
and call
Right.
it and move
I
on.
third it.
Yeah. I would also say that Sarah Carroll's been there for like over 20 years too. So it's like
Yeah.
another person who's
Yeah.
very smart and very great, but stale is a word that like
Yes.
runs through my brain. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, which is why we find ourselves at odds with these decisions, because we're doing what is good and what is right, and they're doing it to sing for their own jobs, and that shouldn't be the case. You know, it's total corruption. It is completely anti-democratic, and I don't know why we're putting up with it.
Well, shall we formally vote on this, Jason?
Yes, we should. Did you put something up, Roger, or this is a
No, I haven't.
work in progress?
Yeah.
Right, okay, great.
I mean,
All right.
I can draft something.
Yeah, great. So we'll do that, and we're call the question.
Second it.
Okay, any recusals? Any abstentions? Any opposed? Motion carries 7 in favor.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Roger.
Thank
happy
you,
Pas-
Roger.
happy
Roger.
Passover and Holy
you.
Thursday and Good
Yes,
Friday.
Yes, Holy Thursday, right. Take care,
Okay.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks
Thank
all.
you.
Good night.
Good
Thanks.
night.